Lord of the Mysteries. Chapter 1109. Patience. After ending the divination and returning to the real world, Klein walked to the room outside the rental flat. There, he pondered for nearly a minute while looking at the crimson moon in the night sky. Perhaps, there's still another chance for digesting the potion, he muttered silently as he ultimately rummaged for something. He took the two marionettes and disappeared into the shadows. In Backlund, he no longer dared to use Flaming Jump, afraid that it might catch Cerital's notice. After all, it was impossible for him to always have an opportunity to ignite Will Ossepton's paper crane to protect himself. This was a sign of disrespect towards the Snake of Fate, and it was easy for Dr. Aaron's family to be targeted if he kept visiting them. In the blink of an eye, Klein appeared at the back of the tall, Gothic-styled bell tower in his dream. He hid in the shadows, one formed by the Bell of Order, a symbol of Backlund. Immediately following that, he and his two marionettes split apart, each occupying different hidden spots. After doing all of this, Klein quickly turned a rat into a marionette, allowing it to run to the edge of the range of his control. It opened its mouth and softly chanted an honorific name. The great god of war, the symbol of iron and blood, the ruler of chaos and strife. Demoness of White Katarina is in this area. Since Klein was fulfilling his agreement with the Red Angel evil spirit, he also hoped that this high-level creature would step into a trap that might possibly be for him. At the same time, he had some doubts about Sauron Einhorn Medici's true intentions. He had no intention of urgently getting help from the Church of Evernight or Queen Mystic. He planned on watching from the sidelines to confirm the situation, lest he implicated others into springing a trap. Just as the prayer ended, the gray rat suddenly twitched and fell quietly beside the rubbish bin. It had already lost its life and was no longer Klein's marionette. This was a way to prevent himself from being marked by the Red Angel evil spirit. As for him, after giving up on that rat marionette, he immediately left the area where the Bell of Order was located with Konas and Enani. He also made, the winner, prayed to see God Kalvechu a few kilometers away. After the prayer, the two of them continued to retreat, widening their distance. Then, Klein hid in a storage room in a particular house, took 4 steps counterclockwise, and went above the gray fog to sit at the position of the Fool. He then beckoned for the sea god's scepter. With the help of the prayer light of the winner, he expanded his scope and observed the target area. At the same time, with his other hand, he held the piece of paper that was stained with Vice Admiral Ailment Tracy's blood. With a medium like this, and a general scope, it didn't take long under his true vision before he found the hidden demoness of White Katarina. The black-haired, blue-eyed woman was dressed in a pure white robe. She looked like a weightless feather, and she was gently drifting across the streets and alleys. Even if the patrolling policemen looked in the right direction, they were unable to detect her presence. If it wasn't for the gray fog's help, Klein could only use spirit body threads to see through the invisibility to a certain extent. Taking a deep breath, he patiently waited for the Red Angel evil spirit to appear. He also observed Katarina, wanting to know what she was looking for. He suspected that the demoness of white was targeting Trissy Cheek. Seconds changed to minutes as the crimson moon gradually tilted to the side. Having wandered around the Bell of Order for a while without finding anything, Katarina revealed a slightly frustrated and disappointed expression. She looked as though she was about to leave that area at any time. And the Red Angel evil spirit never appeared. This Sauron Einhorn Medici was just lying to me. He really didn't have the demoness of white as his goal. No, that's not necessarily the case. If that happened, then his condition would be meaningless. The Red Angel evil spirit has actually arrived at the scene, but has chosen not to immediately take action like me. He is waiting for the battle between Katarina and me and my companions to reach its most intense state before suddenly appearing to reap the greatest benefits. Klein's thoughts wandered as he came up with a guess. He suspected that the Red Angel evil spirit was as cautious, careful, and staid as he was. He hoped to be the fisherman pulling in the net, and not that net. This is really troublesome. Next, it will depend on who's more patient. Klein muttered silently as he continued to observe the situation around the bell of order through the prayer light. Tick, tick, tick. The second hand was beating at the same pace in the quiet night. Demoness of white Katerina's expression turned increasingly gloomy. Suddenly, she cast her gaze on the glass window of a building. In the dim night, the glass window was like a mirror reflecting the things in front of it. Katerina's beautiful blue eyes sparkled slightly as the surface of the mirror instantly turned dark, as though there were countless objects and layers of space hidden within. The glass window seemed to have become a passageway to an alternate world. With a thought, together with the various beyonder powers that Demoness Trissy had showcased, he suspected that Katerina was about to use the mirror world to leave this place and end her hunt tonight. How can the Red Angel evil spirit still endure this? Klein tensed up as he instinctively wanted to put down the sea god's scepter and return to the real world. He wanted to act against the Demoness of White and prevent her from leaving. As this thought flashed through his mind, he ultimately didn't move. He felt that he could still wait a little longer because even if Katerina left the surrounding area of the Bell of Order, he could still locate her again as long as she didn't discover that something had happened to her daughter. When the time came, he could first summon Erodes to ask about the target's actual abilities and items. Then, he could either seek the help of Queen Mystic Bernadette or the Church of Evernight to borrow a Grade 1 sealed artifact. He could then make the scales of victory tip towards him before taking action. I deliberately didn't hide my operation this time. If I were to borrow a sealed artifact and the Archbishop assents to it, that means that the goddess's true attitude towards George III is, she doesn't like the king becoming the Black Emperor, but she can only accept it silently. If someone is willing to disrupt the ritual, she is willing to provide some help. Klein calmed his slightly anxious feelings, allowing his observation to become more relaxed. At that moment, Demoness of White Katerina's expression returned to normal. She floated to the glass window and entered without any corporeal form. The layers of illusory worlds within the mirror converged as though they were constantly moving away. At this moment, using his true vision to observe the area underneath, Klein seemed to hear a shrill female scream. This cry seemed to come from another world. It contained extreme fear and disbelief. None of the residents in the surrounding area were jolted awake. No one heard anything. That was Katerina's scream? What exactly happened to her? Klein's gaze froze as he thought of something. The Red Angel evil spirit is also an evil spirit, and it's also capable of using mirror. Blink, thus using this medium. In other words, he is no stranger to the mirror world. Could it be that Sauron Einhorn Medici had been hiding in the mirror all this time, waiting for the Demoness of White to throw herself into a trap? As his pupils dilated, the darkness and gloominess in the glass window disappeared. The mirror had lost its unique characteristics and returned to its original state. A few seconds later, the bottom of the glass window slowly bled, forming a liquid that slid down. In the areas that the liquid passed, the surrounding grayish-white tint spread, covering its original pale yellow color. It was like a newly embedded stone. Drip! 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 The drops of liquid landed on the ground, dyeing it bright red like blood, beautiful like flowers. Upon seeing this scene, the muscles on Klein's face twitched slightly before he forced himself to use his clown powers to control his expression. This ending was really unexpected. A powerful and senior Sequence 3 saint, one who had lived for more than 1,000 years, was unable to put up any resistance in front of the Red Angel evil spirit's trap. There was only silence left. As for Klein himself, even if he counted the 2 marionettes and the sealed artifacts he possessed, he was still a little weaker when compared to Katerina's strength. He needed to make up for this gap through prior preparations. This also meant that, if he were to face the Red Angel evil spirit, he would probably not end up any better. He would similarly be powerless and puny, slowly sinking in the torrent that followed. Is this what a former king of angels is? Even though his strength has yet to recover to its peak state, it still leaves one in such despair. Seeing the blood seeping out from the glass window gradually lessen, he took a deep breath and returned to the real world. Following that, he and Winner and Annie exchanged positions as he teleported to the glass window. When Bizarro sorcerers switched positions, they could only choose two, swapping their bodies or bodies and external objects. However, it was impossible to be too precise at his current level, so Klein wasn't able to leave behind whatever he wanted. He could only choose to leave everything or not leave anything behind. Anuni, who wore Gehrman Sparrow's appearance, said to the glass window in a deep voice the moment he materialized in front of it, "I have already fulfilled my promise." A figure suddenly appeared on the glass window. He was wearing a long black robe with red stripes. He casually wore a hood, revealing a soft outline. His skin was brown, and he had a pale face. He was the gatekeeper who had been possessed by Sauron Einhorn Medici. "Well done!" The young man walked down from the window and said with a smile. Upon hearing this, Klein took out something from his pocket. The corners of his mouth curled up as he happily replied, "You did well too." As he spoke, he blew at the monocle in his hand and wore it on his left eye. Sauron Einhorn Medici's smile froze.